my forehead was so high. I got a 5 head going on there. What the heck's going on? I think I'm
Yeah,
just
you
gonna.
do, man.
I was gonna go
If
ahead
you
and do it
notice,
the
I
old
try to
school way.
sit as
Just
far away from the camera as I can because my head's way too big to sit as close as you
I
are.
know, I know. Hey, all the trolls are gonna eat up that one. Oh, Tano's head's too big, and that's
That's right.
that.
Right, right. Oh yeah.
Yep. Hey, is
Well,
this good though? Because I'm gonna
Chris,
have to
good to
hold
see you,
it.
man.
You too, brother.
I mean, if you don't mind holding it, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't mind holding it. I'm good. It's good. It's a good shoulder
Okay.
workout anyway.
All right. Well, good to see you, Chris. What you got going on in your life, man?
Well, I was in Shreveport at Red River Range there and teaching a course this weekend. It was one day was with the some law enforcement from DeSoto SWAT, and then also from it's called Centenary College of Louisiana. They have their own police force, which honestly I think every college should have, to be honest with you. Um, and they came in too, brought 7 of his officers in, so we had that on one day, and it was more of a level 2 pistol course. What we did, a lot of walking, a lot of movements, not dynamic, but the methodical movements of being able to walk, shoot, chew bubble gum, rub your head, and pat your stomach at the same time. Being able to multitask with that pistol. And then day 2 was just a level 1 pistol, and it was great. No, if you're ever in Shreveport, definitely it's the range that you should belong to. They're in at Red River. They are good people. They're really good people there. And then I drove back and got back in late last night.
Well, we're a few hours south of them. We're in Lake Charles, Louisiana, so we're
Oh
familiar
yeah,
with those guys up there.
yeah. They're good.
Yeah.
They're good. Brad over there, good guy. Bruce, one of their lead instructors, great people. And they're one of the ranges that require their staff to qualify. Which honestly, that's I think every range should have that. If you have a staff, they need to go through a qualification at least once a month just to maintain the standards, and it keeps them on their toes. So that's why I admire Brad and those guys. And they're real friendly, real humble, no ego when you walk in the door, and they're just, hey, Tana, what you need, we're here to help, and it's a good facility.
Well, it's funny you say that about needing to train or pass an organization
Yeah.
should, because I was at a law enforcement agency's training facility one time, and I'm not going to say which one it was to embarrass anybody. And we're standing at the 7 yard line, like there are paths of
Yeah.
concrete that at 7 yards, 15 yards, and I think
Yeah.
at 20, and then just went on up. So we're standing on the sidewalk at 7 yards, and their targets sat a little bit high, and below that were some cross ties that ran all the way across the bottom. And the cross ties were just riddled with bullets. I mean, riddled with them. And I'm standing there
Yeah.
with the trainer, and I'm like, God dang. I said, how far back were the guys who were hitting these cross ties right here? And he goes, where you're standing. We're standing at
Where
the
you? Oh,
7 yard mark, and the cross ties
what?
were riddled with bullets. I was like, holy crap. That made me so
Oh,
nervous. I said, I don't even want to get pulled over by these guys.
I was going to shoot me in the shin. It's a perishable
Right.
skill. Even when I was with the GRS, we had to requal on the big main requal, the one we even vetted on every 2 years, and you'd see guys come back to requal, and they bolo it, and they lose their jobs. I mean, but it's important because yeah, you're carrying a gun, and if you're going to use it, you better be able to know how to use it. But even more than that, have the wherewithal to know when to not use it. Going through the
Yeah.
situational. So I believe with the get on the range and do some shooting, but I also think, hey, as far as sustainment goes, should do some scenario based training as well, because you need to get those thought processes going before you even pull that trigger, because that's the last thing you want to do. And you've gone through every option in your head, war gamed it before you make that decision. And normally it's a fatal decision for someone, may even be yourself. So
Right.
yeah, definitely, bro. I agree, especially if you're in law enforcement.
Now,
That's huge.
now was that Shreveport training session that you went to? Was that through Battle Line?
Yeah, that was battle line. We the last, yeah, my battle line courses, we're still running them. We have the last, I think it's been, I would say when I started, it was the first time I talked to you. It was like SHOT Show, what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago is when it first started
Yeah.
with me and
Yeah.
Boone. Boone's doing his own
Yep.
thing now. It's primarily me and Ben Morgan, who's from First Ranger Battalion, and Benny Glossop, who's a MMA, used to be an MMA fighter. Now he's an instructor and does a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff out of Florida. But we've found ranges that actually work well with us, that have our same mindset, as far as just, just having a good time. I mean, you learn. I'm not there to scream at you. I'm not there to yell at you. I mean, we can do those kind of courses, and sometimes they're good. Sometimes that people want that experience. I don't want to go in basic training. I don't want to go in the Ranger or the SEALs, but I want to get a little bit
Right.
of that experience. And it's good leadership, but for the most part, it's, you see people come in and their butt cheeks are already clenched before we even start. And I'm like, guys, you need to relax. Just,
Right.
hey, come on. We're here to have fun. We're here to train. We're here to learn something. And there are ranges that honestly are more conducive to that sort of training, which is what we're in line with, which not knocking the ranges that aren't, but it's not how we are. So it's not a good relationship that we have with them. So we've developed some with actually 4 separate ranges that we usually use primarily throughout the year, and that's one is out there in Shreveport, Red River. Other one is Devad Defense out in Chicago, and he also has a range in Lake Geneva, Washington, which is right by the Grand Geneva Resort. So who doesn't want to go train at that range? Because I can stay at the Grand Geneva there. And then
Yeah.
we also have one at Tread Proof Training, which is outside of Nashville, which is a great bunch of guys too. And then Defender Outdoors there that we always go around Thanksgiving time there in Fort Worth as well. So those are our main ranges, and that we use primarily. We go at least once or twice a year, and now they're good because it's comfortable for us now, and we have that relationship with these ranges. So it's not like walking in where sometimes I'll walk in the door, Battle Line will walk in the door, and you'll feel the bristling, you'll feel the chips on the shoulders, you'll feel like it's like a
Oh
pissing
yeah.
contest, and I don't want that. I'm
Yeah.
not
Let's
like
start
that.
measuring.
Yeah, I don't want anything like that. I just want to come in and train. I'm not
No.
here to take business away from you. I want business to come into your place, and we figured out a way to get that done with the ranges, and again, now it's fun for me. And that's the most important thing as an instructor. I want to be having fun too, or else the instruction is going to suck, and I'm just going to be a grouchy bastard sitting out there trying to train with you, and you're not wanting none of that. You want to have fun. Come on, let's
Right.
learn and have fun. Yep.
And it sounds like these ranges that you guys are working in right now are in God's country too. So that's great that they're all kind of in that part of the country that
Yeah.
really is a good country and a good environment for doing most of this. Chicago being a little bit on the outside edge of that, but I mean, I get that there's still some good people there. I'm not trying to throw them all and generalize all those people
Yeah,
there.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. Paul, is the weirdest thing is I thought the same thing when I first started going there, but it's the city. Yeah, it's the city of Chicago that's just gun
Right.
control crazy.
Right.
But there's the hugest following of people that have guns, that use guns, that shoot a lot, and the ranges there they are awesome. And honestly, there's a lot of very very wealthy people up in north of Chicago that are complete two-way, love the guns. They want to come out and shoot. I host some ranges for them, and these people, I mean, you would never know. I had a guy come in that built the tallest building. He's one of my regulars when we go out there, that built the tallest building in Dubai. The hugest building. I think it's the tallest one in the world. That's his company. And you would never know it when you pull it up. But those are the kind of people that are wanting to come out and learning how to shoot. And honestly, those kind of people too, also they're not going to take any shit from somebody.
Right.
So they want, they
That's
want to be
right.
treated a bit with respect, which is what, hey, you give me respect, I'm going to give you respect. And so it's been a good relationship, and it's shocking to most people that when I say, yeah, honestly, Chicago is one of my best places to go and train, and we get a lot of response, and the Chicago police come in, and too, got a lot of them that come in, and the outer areas. I said, that's my favorite place to go, because these people are serious about learning, not just about guns, but how to take care of themselves and get into tactical situations where they have the confidence to get out of that situation. Because, Chicago, especially inner city Chicago and downtown, there's a lot of crime there. And these people want to be able to handle
Right.
themselves because they know the police aren't always going to be there. And yeah, but I tell you what, Paul, I was shocked too, but that is one of my favorite places to go. And we go there, excuse me, sorry about moving the camera there. We go there about 2 to 3 times a year. And like I said, then we opened up a second range with Devad Defense in Lake Geneva. So we go up there even more than that. And man, they always get after it. So much fun. They're just intense training, but it's a lot of fun, ton of fun.
Well, I know you didn't mention that where you were in Shreveport, it was more of a pistol training course, but just to tell the
Yeah.
viewers out there, you guys do long gun training and things like that.
Yeah.
Just elaborate a little bit more on what you guys do with Battle Line.
Well, we do anything from a level 1 pistol to where we go into a defensive concealed carry course, and that's not a concealed carry course. It's learning how to fight from that concealed position. So it's a lot of manipulating the drawers, clearing your garments, clearing your covers. A lot of people don't get that. They go get the CCW and then well, now I got a gun, I'm good to go, and they don't know that there are a lot of steps before you even get that gun out of your holster, so you don't shoot yourself, or when you're putting it back in, so you don't shoot yourself. And what you have to do with as far as just being able to have retention of that gun before it comes out of your holster from that concealed position. There's a lot to it. And so we do stuff like that. We do stress fires, which are primarily carbine courses, but we do implement some pistol training into it just in case we have down guns. You have a carbine that goes down and you can't clear it, and you still got to stay in the fight. Those stress fire courses are pretty intense. Not on the yelling side, it's a lot of physical activity. A lot of what we call, and probably a lot of your community out there knows this, called rundowns. A lot of rundowns, moving from yard line to yard line from 200 meters on out. And to me, that is the best way to simulate sorry guys, I'm saying my five head again. Best way to simulate combat to me, because you're getting that stress levels up. You're getting the sweat glands pouring in your eyes. You got sweat all over the place. Hands and everything is just covered and drenched in your sweat, and how hard it is to grip a gun. But then with the heart rate going crazy, getting there and seeing how difficult it is after running all the way down to the 7-yard line with your heart rate going crazy, your eyes burning, your head's about to explode because you're breathing so hard, and how hard it is to hit a 6-inch plate from 7 yards, just at the very end. And to me,
Yeah.
that is the best way to replicate stressful training. It really is. It's not the blue box. I really don't think that's the best way. And the reason I'm saying that is because that's what works for me. So I'm trying to pull from my experiences. And that is even at range battalion, before we even go to the range, we would hump a ruck, 50, 60 a pound ruck, 5 miles before we even got to the range. And that was just a little ruck. That was just to get your heart rate up before you even started shooting. So that's where that mindset comes from. And they're fun. But they're a blast. And when people finish with those things, it feels like you accomplished something very hard but you're happy because you're like, you know what, it was hard, but it really wasn't. It was fun. It's like walking off a football field at the end of the day when you've won the game and you're smoked, but you're like, man, that was great and we won. And you feel that victory at the end of the day. But we also do, level 1 carbine as well, vehicle defense courses, which are great, learning how to fight in and out of a vehicle, but also teaching people, hey, your first asset is not the gun. It's just putting your foot on the gas and getting away. And I think a lot of instructors miss that on the vehicle defense. Is, hey, how do I shoot through the windows? How do I shoot through this window? Hey, no, the first thing is put your foot on the gas and get the hell out of there before you even have to draw your gun. But that's where Benny comes in too. We bring him in on those, and we teach a little bit of how, if something happens, how to fight and get away or get to your gun and create space inside the vehicle itself. And I'll give him a little shout out there. Rudy Reyes, he's a very good friend, and he came into a Chicago course, and we were doing the vehicle defense course, and we had a former Marine, another former Marine that was now a sheriff out there in Illinois. And put him in the car, and they got after it. Got after it. But it was motivating for everybody to see, and to see Rudy do that, and that's good as a public figure, which Rudy is. Rudy Reyes, if you don't know him, great guy, tremendous guy. He's getting in there and giving 110%. It just made everybody else get in there and give 110%. And again, it turned the course fun. And we do PSD training as well, which is, we've done that for years with State Department through GRS. And then we get into, we do if people want it in their specialized courses, depending on who we're training. But CQB, 1-man room clearing, 2-man room clearing, home defense. To be honest with you, brother, you would think those are the most fun to teach. Honestly, they're not, because there's so much that needs to go into it. It's not just going into a room and shooting your gun. It's pieing, being able to clear corners, being able to use angles, going from methodical to dynamic as far as your movements go, and then even just where your gun placement needs to be. And you have to have some basics in high carries, low carries, 10 guns, so forth, with pistols and rifles. That there's a lot that should go into before you even start getting into the room or urban stuff. and you really can't cover all that in 2 days. I mean, that's, that took me years to figure out where we do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun for people, but I feel like they've been shortchanged because I've got to, just briefly touch on carry positions and using your angles and when to go from a extend gun to a compressed ready position. And it's fun, but I don't think people are getting everything they need. Where if we did it for a week long, yeah, maybe we could throw it and get it together and be more, it'd be more beneficial to the sign-upee for the course. But who has a week long to take off for training, and they can get expensive, and who has that kind of money?
Yeah.
So it's things that we're playing with, but doing the 2 days and the 1 days of intense good training with stress fires or vehicle defenses, or getting on the novice level and doing level 1 pistol, level 1 carbine, those are always fun. And I feel like we can put enough information out there with Battle Line that when they leave, they have a lot in their kit bag to go work on their own. And that's what I always tell them. You got to work out on your own. I'm going to teach you stuff here. You're going to remember some of it. You're not going to remember all of it. You're not going to improve to where you want to be just in these 2 days. But what I want you to take from this is stuff we've taught you, but also the drills. And that's because that's where I learned, brother. It was the drills. It wasn't, I'll be honest, it wasn't an instructor really telling me anything. It was, okay, I remember the drill we did when I got back to train on my own. Okay, let's go do that same drill and do it again and do it again on my own. And that's where I started to improve. In fact, I didn't even know when I was throwing rounds for 2 years, when I got past, got to the 15, 25, because that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where those little mistakes really magnify. Once you get past that 10-yard line, there's a little forgiveness on in with that pistol. But I couldn't figure out why I kept throwing my 7. And people were saying, oh, it's your grip, your trigger press, your grip, your monkey grip in it. It wasn't. It was always my firing thumb every time. Everything looked good. My grip was good. And then I was shooting the Kardashians doing dry fire in my room, watching the Kardashians doing my dry fire training. And I started to see my capillary refill on my firing thumb going red and then coming back white. And it was this off thumb that kept gripping and throwing me off. And that was me figuring it out. But that was from other instructors telling me, hey, dry fire training is more important than going on the range. So that's what I was doing. I was doing drills that they taught me, and I caught my capillary refill on that pistol on that grip while doing dry fires, and I'm like, oh shit. Excuse me. Sorry, all you listeners out there. I know.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. And it's like, man, okay. I got it. I figured it out, and that's why I do believe it's important when you come to a range and you go with an instructor. And I feel myself as a coach, not an instructor. I'm here to coach and help you improve, bring the best out of you. Not just necessarily do what I say. I just want to bring that best personality as a coach, and I want you to get better. But to leave and go, okay, I know all this. Now I can take it to the next level on my own with more training. And I see a lot of people of our return students that come back. Britt Starnes, another great student that we have come through, has gone from where, bro, I didn't know he looked like Hopalong Cassidy trying to do movements, jumping everywhere, to now he comes through a course and he is smooth operator, rolling through rooms and things. And that's is a lot for Britt, not the instruction. It's that he took our instruction and has improved on his own during the breaks in between him coming to train with us when we do train in God's country. Yeah, you're right, in the Midwest. And that makes me feel good. It really does.
Well, there's something I know everybody wants to talk to you about. Before we do that, I want to mention what we did. Before we came on, we actually talked about your books that we're doing a giveaway for your 3 books.
Yeah. Hey,
so
I got them right here for you, brother. There they are. All right here.
All right. There's the 3 books we were talking about earlier. I've got my 3 right here. Mine are all autographed from Kris, and I do appreciate the personal words in here, Kris. But we are giving away those 3 books that you have. And I was just telling everybody that we have a giveaway that we're doing with Wind and Weaponry Rifles. And Chad, I know, has the link he's posted earlier on the screen, but we're going to post that in the body of this email. And there's plenty of other places to go. If you go to, I think if you're watching the video on legallyarmedamerica.com and you click on that video window, you'll see the link underneath there. That link that you go to will enter you into the contest to win that 308 rifle, but it will also enter you in the contest to win one of these. So no offense, Kris, but yours is going to be the consolation prize. It's not the main prize. Or
You kidding me?
some people
A
might
book or a
prefer the
rifle?
book
I
over
did
the
the same
rifle,
way.
but
Like the hell with the books. I want the rifle. I
right,
mean,
right.
Jesus.
So
Yeah.
we figure at least this is a strong consolation prize. It's not like
I
a grab bag of stuff or something. It's something personalized that you're going to actually personalize for people, and we feel like that's kind of cool. So everybody, you will be entered into that contest. If you enter into the rifle contest, you'll also be entered into the contest to win these personalized books. And Kris, I guess I'll just communicate to you once we get the winner. I'll just
yeah.
communicate to you who it is and all the information to sign the inside of the book.
Perfect. Perfect. You know the I'm all yours, brother. You just give me some guidelines and I'll run with it. No worries.
All right, now this is the part of the conversation that I think everybody wants to know. And I've got mixed feelings about things. You and I've had offline conversations before about what
Sure.
happened when you guys were in
Sure.
Benghazi and all that
Sure.
kind of stuff.
Sure.
And I want to know this personally, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but what are your feelings inside seeing so many, like tomorrow's Joe Biden's going to be
Yeah.
inaugurated as president of the United States? I'm
Yeah.
just curious, and I mean this. I know this is personal, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but what are your feelings deep down inside when you see not only Joe Biden, but so many people from that Obama administration getting hired back to be in charge of this country again?
Well, you know, I last year, it was 2 years ago. I kind of pulled myself. I got tired of being in the political realm of being on the news and me. And honestly, I felt like I was being manipulated. Finally, figured it out by some of the media and also politicians on both sides. So I pulled away from it. And to be honest, my life has been so much better not paying attention to it. I've come to the realization it doesn't make a difference, who's in charge or not. They're always going to be corrupt. Guys, are. I wish I had something that's not. There's always going to be corruption. There's always going to be backhanded deals. There was plenty of information out there to bring all that administration under the Obama administration during when we were in Benghazi, all of them under, if not indictment, at least violations of national security. And at the biggest realm, even manslaughter by not responding to and doing their jobs when we were basically left to die on the rooftops.
Being
So
attacked, yeah.
yeah, and again, I think you could go even as far as say that because they have a responsibility to do that as your commander in chief. That's your job, man. That is and
Yep.
and it didn't happen. So watching it now, if it was the old me, I'd be chomping at the bit, pissed off. But that did nothing for me on my life. It made me honestly, I lost God when I was doing that. I was just angry all the time because I was like, man, I got to control this. I got to control, and I couldn't, and that was making myself worse. So watching it, um, politics in DC is such a joke now to me. To me, that's all it is. This is a big joke. You guys keep doing what you want to do. The repercussions will come, and I do believe that whether it's on this earth or the next, they're going to get theirs. The election to me was a sham. I don't want to get into that too much, but anybody that has any common sense can see that was election was again. I said, yeah, joke. It was the most ridiculous thing in the world but we let ourselves do that. And that's politicians, even on both sides, that allowed that. When you allow an election to go over the the day and the time it says this is when all voting ends, that's what's going to happen, especially with mail-in votes, is you're gonna see, and that Republicans' fault too for letting that happen, for voting for that. When I see it, Biden was, and people have forgotten about that because honestly, out of the entire administration, he probably kept his mouth shut the most, but he was heavily involved with leaving us behind too. And to think that he's going to support the troops, no, they're not. So all I say is, guys, just keep living. Don't get all immersed in it because all it's going to do is piss you off. It's going to make you angry, which I understand, which is why the rally was why they stormed the Capitol. It wasn't for anything else besides being angry because their voices aren't being heard. Because the Supreme Court said, no, we're not going to listen to the voting fraud case because due to standard, it doesn't have any standing or what are standing. I think that's what it didn't have any standing. And this people get upset because their voices aren't being heard. And then as this goes into him being inaugurated, I think a lot of people are going to be like me. It's not that we're going to go to the route of the crybaby liberals that said, "Hey, he's not our president." I don't think it's that way. It's just,
Right.
what's
Right.
it's like, to hell with you. We're just going to keep living our lives. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep preparing ourselves for whatever we need to prepare. Always prepare, plan for the worst, right? Hope for the best, plan for the worst. But also, basically, like I've done, I've I've become Tanto again, the same guy when I was deploying. I don't pay attention to politics. I pay attention to my family. I pay attention to the Bible. I pay attention to how I should live with God, and I pay attention to the Constitution. And those are the things that become paramount in my life. And everything that's in DC and on the news, boy, I turn it off because it's all there, brother, just to manipulate and make money and keep people in power.
Yep.
And I say that, and a lot of veterans that have been overseas, especially Iraq, especially Afghanistan, and if you ever had the chance to work in Syria or Libya, you'll see the same thing. That's what keeps people in control, is people continually watching the media and listening to politicians thinking one's going to save them when you don't need to, and it's all just bringing you down, and you're picking a side now, and you're going to fight. And I, it could turn
Right.
into conservatives fighting against Democrats. Well, that's the same thing to me as the Sunni fighting against the Shia. And how's that worked out in Iraq? Not real well. Same for me as
Right.
seeing the Northern Alliance people that followed Massoud fighting the Taliban. How'd that work out for you? Didn't work out very well. And we need to learn from all that we saw overseas so it doesn't happen here. But it doesn't mean doesn't mean you have to worship a politician on the left or the right. You just have to live your life and live it well with virtue, and things will come back. It's just going to take a little time because we've gone down that road. And brother, I was part of it. Hey, man, I was a big part of that. I think we needed to say what we needed to say, definitely, to show the truth of what happened, to bring people, to attempt to bring people to justice that righted us wrong. Or how was that right? Yeah, that did us wrong, I should say. But as I've seen and listened to me guys from the 3 years, I saw behind the curtain there. It's like going the Wizard of Oz and that curtain being pulled back and you seeing what's behind the scenes there. Those people are all in cahoots with each other. They really are. And it doesn't do any good. You have a few that did try to help. The two that I know did try to help and tried to do the right thing were Trey Gowdy and Jason Chaffetz. But where are they now? They're not in politics
Right.
anymore. Because they knew they're the same as me. They saw the writing on the wall that all these people are in cahoots with each other. We can't make a difference anymore because it's just pitting the American people against each other so they can maintain control, and they have a pulpit to stand on to get elected or during their next election year. And I tell you, they're like mushrooms, brother. And every time we're looking at them, we're feeding them shit, and they keep growing. If we would just stop looking at them, they would quit feeding them shit. They would eventually, we would hope, go away. But yeah, brother, I think that would be my pipe dream if that would happen, or giving term limits to congressmen and congresswomen. That would help if we would do that.
Amen. Amen to
bro,
that.
I don't see. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to go out. Oh, the election was a joke. Is that going to get changed? No. The Supreme Court already said they're not going to hear the cases, which was wrong. That's why you don't put activists on the Supreme Court. You judge is a judge, not an activist. But that's where we're at because we've allowed it. And I'm just going to continue to live my life. I'm going to continue to train with Battle Line. I'm going to continue to get out with good people. I'm going to continue to speak because I'm still out there speaking. Finally, again, the speaking circuit's opening back up because the virus, the shocker, there's a vaccine for the big shock. The vaccine for the virus came out.
Right,
hey,
right.
Right when the last one,
Yeah.
And continue to spread the word about God too, as well, because that's the one that we've lost, and that's where politicians have pushed us away from God. We've allowed them to do that to us, and that's the only person you need to listen to. Or as a Christian, I'm going to say whatever that higher power you believe in is, that is altruistic, that doesn't believe in that one religion is better than the other. To me, listen to that higher power. But we've got away from that. We're listening to man, and as we both know, and freshly I know for myself, man is extremely fallible, and that's not somebody we need to listen to. So I know there's a roundabout answer in your way, but that's the best way I could explain it in my Tantoism way.
No. That's perfect. That's perfect. I know that I want to catch up with you at some point. If you're going to be frequenting that Shreveport range, I want to catch up with you up there, and definitely need to get. So just out of curiosity, the battle line schedule, how do we find, I know you got a couple of websites, but where do we go for the battle line and where do we go if people are looking for your books?
Well, you can always even just go to the Paronto.com, and then there's drop down menus for all the other stuff we have. I know it's amazing. I've got all this stuff going on. I never dreamed this wasn't ever a plan, and I'm finally getting it in the right positions where it needs to be. But BattleLineTactical.com will take you right to the classes. And also the Tanto's Gear Locker, TantosGearLocker.com will take you to all the merchandise that we have. And all that merchandise is what people have asked for over the years. It's never anything I've thought of. I wish I could say I was that smart. It's not. It's people, and people like your listeners out there and your viewers have said, Tanto, can you do this? And me, all right, let's give it a shot. Let's see how we do on it and making it. So go to KrisTantoParonto.com, and that'll give you the full menu where you can find the courses, find merchandise. But if you want to go directly to the sites, BattleLineTactical.com, just go right there, or TantosGearLocker.com for all the merchandise that we have. But you'll see they're all overlapping. So even if you go to one, there's a drop down where you can find the other. Yeah, brother, and I hope to see people at the courses. We have one coming up at Rich Graham's place. Excuse me, guys. One coming up, Full Spectrum Warrior there in outside of DeLand, Florida, coming up in February. That's our next one, and that's a stress fire course. So I hope we see some people out there at it.
Very cool. We're going to send some people your way, Kris.
Awesome.
Look, man, it's always good talking to you, and I appreciate you taking the time out. I know you're busy, and thanks for always taking the time out of your busy day to speak with us. And we will definitely catch you next time. And again, so much appreciation for you taking the time with us.
Well, thanks, guys. Thank you. And Paul, you're awesome. And keep telling your listeners, just always be prepared. Be like a good Boy Scout. We're always prepared, but be willing to turn the other cheek till it's time to not turn the other cheek. And you'll know, believe me, you'll know when that time is. And yeah, God bless everyone. Keep your head tomorrow, guys. And everybody's going to be pissed, and I will be with y'all too, but just keep your heads. Keep your heads, definitely.
Sounds good, Kris. Be safe, man.
All right, Paul. Thanks, buddy.